Hi.
It works. Hello.
How are you? I don't hear you, but that's okay.
What? How can you not hear me? Can
I hear
anyone
you now.
else
I
hear
hear you
me?
now. I hear you. It's my
All
own
right.
volume. It was down.
All right.
It turned itself down. So that was crazy, dude.
It was the most difficult time we've ever had, ever.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's remnant on what's going on in a lot of society and reality and even my life. There's a lot. There's a lot getting unfolded and unpacked right now.
Yes.
And
Yes. Tremendously
I'm
so.
I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about some of that in this show,
Yes.
guys. So, thank you guys all for being here. I'm sort of hosting because normally it's on the Human Garage. So even though Chris is here, I'm just going to give a little intro. So we're this is Astro Monday. We are going to be talking about some grand things that are happening in our reality, and a little bit. We're going to narrow it down into day by day as well. And I just want to thank all the Human Garage crew. If you guys came over onto this channel, please follow this channel as well. And yeah, thank you guys for coming over here and listening. Chris, so yes, please update us on what your thoughts are just on the top of your head right now of what's going on.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about it for some time now. I've been talking about that we're going to have a big shift happening. And, the Palladians have called this a frequency war, where basically there's a last stand between the powers on Earth. And, I would say that with the assassination of
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk. Sorry, Charlie. I'd say that has begun. Uh, my team of psychics all felt like that was the event we were looking for. I had said that it would be in mid-September, and there it was. And I would think, I feel that there will be retaliation as well, and so I would predict, unfortunately, that probably some, at least liberal side will be at least shot at. It's not killed. And we all feel at our organization, among my friends who are psychic, that this is an outside party that has an agenda. It's not what it seems to be. It's not a lone gunman. We do not feel lone gunman whatsoever. We feel a strategy,
Mm-hmm.
and for whatever, and to create chaos on Earth. Like ultimately, there's an old situation on this Earth that goes way beyond any country that's been trying to get the Earth for a long time, and so. And this is where we're waking up, guys. It's not what we've been told as far as what the left and the right is and the top and the down is. It's much different than we had experienced. But regardless if you buy into that or not, I would just say, I would just keep an open mind, honestly, and not too quick to jump to any conclusions, and certainly to throw everything past your own heart and your own feelings. If something smells like bullshit, put it on the shelf as a possible bullshit. Because we're in a phase now where human beings have got to realize that they are the source of life. You are like you're the source of reality. You're the source of life. There was upon a time, a slave culture that wanted to control us, and so we were lied to and told that we were sinners and that we had to beg for God's forgiveness. And these were all lies to make us doubt ourselves. And if you doubt yourself, then you doubt your power. If you doubt your power, then you're not in power. So the truth is that you right now are a conduit between heaven and earth. In fact, I had an amazing Astro Mingle last Friday. I recommend you all go watch that on Serious Story TV, YouTube Serious Story TV. Astro Mingle. The Igor was his name, and he was just like, he tells a story about how he went to a psychic surgeon in like South America,
Mm-hmm.
and the psychic surgeon put his hand on his third eye, and his soul was like blasted out of him, and suddenly he was outside of his body. And he's talking about how this psychic surgeon did this to him. And from that point on, he was able to like basically astral travel anywhere in the world of the universe at will. And he said he spent 4 years fucking off, like going to places like Jupiter, like going all these places. And when the guy talks about it, you're just like, you can tell he's not bullshitting. Like, but he just flat out explains everything I've always said, and more with more detail, more clarity about how this reality is built. He also affirms something really fascinating, which is that we start as an oversoul, which is all of us as one, and then we become individuals, and we create this other entity, which is our controlling soul, like the soul that can, like our higher self. We know is our higher self, and then we create our lower self, which is what we are here. It's our lower self. But long story short, the higher self, there's there's a higher self, there's a middle self, and then there's a final one. So like there's actually three. Your body, what you are now, is a Holy Spirit inside your body. But the Holy Spirit also goes to a higher version of yourself. So we have to like dumb ourselves twice down, if you want to think about it that way, right? Anyways, long story short, he confirmed that The one in between, the one that basically is canastral travel, the light body. So we have a light body inside of us. That light body has its own chart, its own astrological chart, which we had been onto with the draconian chart. We were talking about this 5D chart,
Yeah,
and Dylan and who
we
did
mentioned that
Simon.
last week. Yeah.
Yeah, so 5D chart. Well, he confirms. Yes, the 5D chart is the
Oh,
astral
this
body
is a
chart.
different person
It's a
that's
different person.
also confirming the draconian chart.
Yes, draconian chart is like he doesn't know it's draconian, but he said yes, it's a different chart.
Because you
And
said last week draconian was like your soul's
yes,
astrology. And so he's basically, in different words from a different perspective, saying yes to that.
it's your light body astrology. So your
Got it.
light body is like an in between your actual soul and who you are now. And the light body is what we'll live in when we're in 5D. We'll live in our light body. We won't have our flesh body
Right,
anymore.
right.
And so he confirmed that the light body is a different chart, which is what Dylan was seeing as 5D, and he's correct. So it's, anyways, the thing is like the affirmations. I mean, you should see my face live. I'm just like, because we were just discussing it and philosophizing about it. Like this guy randomly shows up on our show. Like he just actually applied to be on our show out of nowhere. We don't even know who he is. Like he just like, I want to be on the show. So the universe. My point is like the universe is conspiring for people to wake up. And what I just gave you is a perfect example of like random things coming together to give fluid understanding of how things actually work. The truth must come out now about everything because we have to live in our truth. And what I talked about last week was that our regular chart that I do every day, every week, that's actually the chart of your disguise, the person you play on Earth in the Earth drama. But that's not who you are. It's who you
That's your
choose to play.
life's work
What's
to,
that?
right? I said that's your life's work is the the astrology of the disguise.
Well, it's the workplace. You know, like it's where it takes place. So the soul has an agenda, and it comes down and plays this character on TV known as Chris Witecki, right? But that's not who I completely am. This is who I am this life. It's the disguise I'm playing this life. In other lifetimes, I've been astrologers, other things. But it's really fascinating because it explains why we don't always get the results we want from the natal reading. Like when the natal reading points us in the right direction, we win the game, but we might lose the series kind of thing.
The
So,
details.
anyways, it's fascinating. But he's agreed. He also says on the show that Igor says that this is a moment where human beings are waking up to their truth, which is that we are here to be this light body. We're here to live in our light body, and we're not here to really live in the flesh. The flesh was a temporary vehicle while the earth was warming up and coming to its higher frequency. So we had to wait for the entire reality to get to a higher frequency, just like we've been waiting for our iPhones to stream live Instagram. You know what I mean? Like for a higher frequency, like 5G, 6G, 7G, same kind of thing. Literally the same kind of thing.
That
So,
exhausted me a little bit.
oh yeah, yeah, totally does. Yeah, it is exhausting. So this moment, we've been looking at this for a long time. We knew, our staff knew that both with the way I was born, everything, that there's going to come this moment where human beings have got to recognize their truth, right, in every facet, in every way, and that we've been way under a lie and way under false facts and things to keep us suppressed and keep us from bringing the light. There are fourth dimensional beings that like feed off of our sadness. There's a lot of bacteria that lives off of our sadness, lives off of our energy, and we put off a lot of energy that keeps a lot of dark energies alive. Just like how much food we eat on the earth keeps a lot of bacteria alive, right? All the food we throw away in a garbage dump, that keeps a lot of bacteria alive. So there's bacteria have conspired to keep us from stop doing it, to make us think there's no other food. Basically, that's what it is. So in essence, we're at that point now where it's now time for the truth to come out. And so in this time, there's going to be what we call the frequency wars. This is a term that the Pleiadians use with the Earthlings when they talk to us through Wendy Kennedy. And what this is that ultimately, if 51% of the Earth believes one thing, and so it is. If 51% of the Earth believes another thing, and so it is. This is a live streaming consciousness that is filtered through your beliefs and your perspective, and it's designed to give you exactly what you believe. Which means that if you believe so and so is an idiot, so and so is an idiot. If you believe they're not an idiot, they're not an idiot. And this is a total backwards way of thinking because we've been told that you have to see it to believe it. That's not true. You can't see it unless you already believe it.
Hmm.
That's the truth.
That's scientifically proven.
That's correct. And the step system also affirms that this is the way things actually work. They start within and they go without. That what you see around you is a reflection of you, and most importantly, how you treat yourself. So if you have a bunch of people who are rude to you today, you were just rude to yourself yesterday. Okay, you're rude to yourself, and in a place that you don't even know because you don't pay attention to how rude you are to yourself. You pay attention to everything going on in your outer world. So we've been misled into thinking our outer world is what's fact. What's fact is how you are on the inside, and what you are on the inside is tomorrow. So the present is the present. Every present came yesterday as something that was pre-sent to us, right?
Hmm.
And that's how reality works. So now, this moment, we have been predicting something would start the frequency wars, and we are all unanimous in my team that it was the Charlie Kirk assassination, which, may I say, was so sad to see. Um, Please, all this idea of one of us being right, one of us being wrong is not true. Everyone is right. Everyone has the right to their opinion and perspective. And one thing that we take falsely is that if one perspective lives, the other ones don't have to die. That's part of the lie. You can have two perspectives and coexist. Look at just nature in nature, where like frogs and snakes coexist. Like they coexist in most of the habitat, but when the times they cross, they have problems. We're the same way. We're designed to be able to live anything we want, to believe everything we want, and to let everyone just be what they want to be. That's the way this is designed to be the perfect vehicle for vacation. It's just a matter of where you are. I've always said it. If you want to be if you want to eat human flesh, you can be a cannibal, but you've got to go live in, South America, somewhere in the jungle. That's where you have to live if you want to be a cannibalist. So it's like you can be anything you want to be, and you can express and experience anything you want to express. This idea that the other side has to go for you to stay is the lie. Okay, and so I'm hoping, I'm praying. I mean, that's what our brand is doing, is trying to educate people to understand that the truth of our nature, which is that we all come from the same source. And the truth of the matter is the reason why some people like Trump and some people like the Democrats and that side is because some people want to see what it's like to have followed that side. And then later they'll see what it's like to follow the other side. Very rarely do you stay the same political party from lifetime to lifetime. People don't realize that because the whole point is a variety. That we have something different. So, anyways, we're at this point now where it's going to start to heat up, and I do feel we agree that things will get really intense in the sense of false information, and the capacity to be completely delusional about something is very high. If you're going to look at things
Why?
as you see them with your eyes versus what your heart feels, I mean, here's the difference: what your heart feels is not what you see. Okay, most of the time. Okay.
I was just gonna say, how is it that both sides of, like, let's even just say Democrat, Republican, it seems like both sides look at the other side and think the other side is completely delusional, and both sides are also very, very, very certain on that their side is more correct. Like, how can that be? Because I look at both sides and they both have that same sort of perspective, and it kind of confuses me on how that can be a thing.
Well, I'll tell you, if we ever came down to some sort of like public trial of stuff, right? The thing is that we would have to not deal with the facts in the way they present it because they're manipulating the mind. Let's put it this way: if there's a murder trial for someone who's been killed, and there's going to be a trial, and they say they've got the genetic evidence, they can prove through your DNA that you had murdered that person. Okay. On the other side of the team, whoever's defending themselves, they also have a DNA expert that says that DNA does not prove that. Okay. In every scientific everything, there's two sides that are looking at the same evidence and they're making convincing arguments that the evidence points to a certain thing.
Yeah,
Science is not about the fact because fact comes down to one's opinion of the evidence.
there you
So
go.
the opinion of the evidence is where it's bullshit.
But
There's
you learn to validate yourself based on the same evidence, essentially.
Exactly. They're using the same evidence to validate both sides. Okay. And that's because what's hidden in science is that it's a human being that interprets the evidence. It's that interpretation, the perception of is it a wave or is it a particle? The perception of the evidence is where it is subjective and not objective, period. Right? So, it will never will be. It cannot be objective. You cannot live outside yourself. In fact, this reality is the best way we can try to live outside of ourselves, and even it cannot be completely objective. There's no objective because the reason there's no objective is because science doesn't want to hear this. There's only one God and only one creation, and so you cannot live out of the one. There's nothing else. Now we're scratching our heads. We don't understand why there's only one. Okay. Even the angels don't understand why there's only one. No one fucking understands why there's only one. No one does that. Okay. So we're all in agreement with that. Like, why is there only one? How's that happen? And how does God feel about that? Well, it turns out what we hear through the rumors is God was damn lonely. That's why he created us. Because he was the only one. So whatever the existence is, we don't understand it either, but we know that there's no escaping it. You are not getting out of this system, period. No matter what you do. And you're not going to die, and you're not going to cease to exist, period. Ever. Ever. From what we understand. So it's going like, it's time for us to grow up a little bit and start really looking at things from a bit more about what our heart is telling us. You have a body that tells you the truth. Your heart will tell you the truth. And so the only way you're going to see through this next 18 months to 2 years, depending on how much it gets drawn out, depending on how far one side goes. And by the way, this goes really big. I mean, it starts in our country, but it goes global. Okay? It goes global. And I do think that China's a big player in it. I think Russia, I feel, I'm not going to say what I think anymore. I'm going to say what I feel. I feel without a doubt that China is a player in this next role. I feel without a doubt that Russia is taking a back seat. That's what I feel. Now, I could be wrong. You tell me what you feel back there. I think if you want truth, we need to get a conglomerate of what people feel, and you have to learn the difference between your feelings and your thoughts and your heart, because there are different voices inside of you. Just like your left toe hurts and your right toe hurts, they come from different places. Your mind, your heart, and your feelings are all three different channels inside of you, and most people can't tell the difference between the three. They don't realize there's different information. Each of those three voices has different scope. The heart, the mind cannot see what the heart sees. The mind cannot comprehend what the feelings are. It's too much data. The mind is like chopsticks. It picks up one word at a time and creates sentences. That's what it's good for. So it's like that fine tool stuff. But the mind is not going to comprehend the universe ever. It just isn't going to do it. It's not capable of it. It's not meant to do it. You
I mean,
know.
it's a function of that lower self that you were talking about, right? Like the mind is a function of the brain, which is in this physical reality as an independent self, separated from your light body, your soul, and everything else, and God, essentially.
Well, apparently, talking to this person, which I didn't quite understand until he explained to me. I mean, I learned so much right there on screen, you guys. I learned so much. But we have three bodies. We have the mental body, the emotional body, and the physical body. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's an emotional body. That means it exists onto itself before we incarnate, and those three bodies form what we call reality. The mental body, and I knew this. I called it a super state in my last lecture. The mental body can go through heaven and back down here, and the emotional body also goes through heaven and back down here, from what I've heard, which is the ability to feel and sense. Which means that when you're in the brain of a body, you're in like the dimmest part of that awareness. Like you're looking, there's through one little peephole. Think of it that way. When you're on Earth, you're looking through a peephole of information. And that's because we're drowning out the rest of reality in heaven so that we can actually just focus on one thing. But see, you cannot make a judgment for your entire multi-lifetime story through that damn peephole. And that peephole changes every lifetime. You choose a new people. Like, I'm just gonna put, like, this first in my life, now this first, now this first. You can move it if you want, but here we are fighting over who chose. The people they're looking at life at. It's like, who cares? Like, it's like it's going to war over like why people are taking selfies on vacations. Why aren't you taking movies? You shouldn't be taking selfies. You're going to hell. It's like, why do we care the perspective people take? It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect us. That's a lie. It doesn't affect us. It does not affect us really. If even like with social movements, I mean, most of the time, social movements only happen because there was a dark force behind them pushing it. It wasn't because the people actually made it all happen, because they weren't organized. Something organized them. Something bigger than them, outside of them. You
I
know.
was going to bring this back up because you mentioned in the first sentence that there's something that's organized that predates countries, and I wanted to come back around to this. So it
Yes.
sounds like you're doing that. So yeah,
Well, I'm just saying, like right now, like when people say, so and so is going to ruin the country, how? I'd like to know how. How, even if it was a president, Congress, I mean, all the different voices have to weigh in, all the coordination has to happen. Or let's say, for instance, with the people who are immigrants, the immigrants are going to destroy the country. How? They would have to organize. Like, how? Tell me how. There would have to be some big phone call on every immigrant at the same time. I'm not saying it's good or bad to have them here, or they shouldn't go through due process. Like, don't take the argument away. I'm saying the fact that you're afraid that a bunch of people are going to suddenly conspire together to pull off something amazing when we can't even clean up the garbage in our streets. Come on. It's a leap of imagination your mind is making. And the thing is, the mind can sit here and think of 1,000 things it's afraid of all day long. But the mind is stupid, because nothing will happen unless your entire being says yes to it. That's what the step system taught us, is that you need to unite your states of awareness. It's united states of awareness that will make change. United, okay? If they're not united, there will be no change. If your United States are united to you, you can make things happen. If one part of you is saying no and 9 parts of you are saying yes, you're not going anywhere, Bubba, because it takes the united of your intention. So until we're united, there will be no change. And that's the point. The immigrants are not uniting. The Republicans and Democrats are not uniting. No one's uniting. And guess what? That's much easier to control of an outside force than one that's united. If we were to unite ourselves, we would have no problems uniting with others. The reason why you don't like other people,
exactly. That's yes. We must be aligned with ourself, you know, with our job, with how we relate to our parents, how we harmonize with the car that we drive. Like all these little details. If we hate these little parts of ourselves, we're not going to ever be able to harmonize with other people.
Correct, 100%. And the way reality works is, if I sit here and go, I hate how lazy I am. I never get anything done. I'm such a fool. Well, then tomorrow, guess what you see? You see Jose, who's an immigrant, who's actually mowing your lawn, and you're like, he's so fucking lazy.
Who's a fool?
Are you
He's a
really
fool.
seeing him lazy? No, you're seeing yourself. He takes one. Let's say he takes a break between like mows. That lazy bastard. Whoa, whoa! You are literally projecting the thing you hate on yourself onto this person. You've attracted the one Latino that takes a break because they all don't take breaks. If you know them, you attract the one that takes a break because your belief structure wanted to affirm that life is true, that life is lazy. You are lazy, therefore everyone's lazy, and so
Right.
you all are caught in the game. You don't understand this is a game. This is not reality. Does not exist. It's a system. It's a formula, and until we get this, we're not going to go any. We're not going to go far. And so we're going to be pushed to a break where you're going to have to say there's going to be a point, at least one point, but if not, probably five, because it takes the mind 5 times to actually figure something out. It's so stupid that you actually have to choose 5 times that you disagree with what you're being told. And I don't care where it comes from. It might come from an official statement from your government. It might come from an official statement from Kellogg's. I don't know, but there'll be at least 5 times where you go, I think they're lying. I think this is not true. My heart feels this is bullshit. And until you side with your heart, what you feel, you will be lost. You'll be lost because this is who you are. We're wired so basic that if you don't love it, you're not supposed to do it. That God made it very simple. Do you like it? No. Then don't do it. It's like so fucking simple, but we've been told, well, you have to do it. Says who? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're at the moment of growing up. This is a moment where we wake up and go, wait a second, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Like, I don't really want this. My heart doesn't want this. That's what COVID did. I mean, what COVID did for us, which was a backfire of a plan. That plan backfired. Just to know, they usually fail. These people, they usually fail. They failed every time. They've been trying for 100 years now to do this. They keep fucking up. They're so stupid because they don't have access to God. I mean, when you turn your back on God, sorry, you don't get the great ideas. You don't get the great people. You don't get anything great. You get the leftovers. Okay. So fortunately, the evils people who do this are getting leftovers. But at the end of the day, and so there's not much success. But at the end of the day, you have to ask your heart, what you feel is who you are and what is true, and let that principle of you guide you, okay, in each step of the way. And you will see right away that if your heart wants something, and they say do this, try doing your heart instead of what they say. Whether they is your mom or your family or your brother or your wife or whoever it is that wants to. And by the way, don't blame anyone. They're all trapped in this dumb game. They're all stuck in it too. So don't get mad at them. They don't know either. But just try at least a couple times. So your heart and feelings want this, and your mind's telling you to do that. Try letting your heart and feelings have its way. See what happens. See what happens when you try your heart and feelings having its way. When you let your heart and feelings have its way, you're going to find that you get everything you wanted, and so do they. Okay, when you go with the path of the heart, it's worked out by a cosmic algorithm that makes it work out for everybody. Not instantly per se. So maybe mad that you didn't go to their dinner party because your heart feelings want to go this way, and they're mad at you for like 10 weeks until they suddenly realize like, oh my gosh, we just want to thank you. Why? Because when you didn't go to our dinner party, we realized we didn't want that house, and we realized we tried to go too far to win people's love, and so you'll find like 12 weeks later that we realized thank you for doing that because you let us see the way. So you have
They
to
get to
be patient.
express their heart's vision, and then it just like all of reality gets changed, gets upgraded based on self change. I mean, I always say change of the system starts with change of the self, or evolution of the system starts with the evolution of the self.
Yes. And from what I've witnessed, now there's a way to do it. Someone asks, how do you do this? Come to Serious Joy. This is what we teach you. It's very simple and it's very cheap. It's $20 a month. I show you day after day what to pay attention to and what has hierarchy over what. It's a very simple map of what is the most important. The heart is number one. Feelings are number two. Beliefs number three. An action, a thought is not even until number five. You're not even supposed to think until step five. So I don't give a shit what your mind has to say about it. If you know your heart, your feelings, where you believe and where you belong, I don't care because you're out of order. You skip steps, and that's what's happened. People try to skip steps and skip past steps when consciousness is built in this and these layers. So it's not until step 9 that you do anything about it. By the way, step 9. So you've done 8 things before that before you even do an action. There should be 8 things we check off on a list before we do anything, before we take action. What are we told? For early bird gets a worm. Like get out there before you even process it. All the
React.
encouragement to act before you think or act before you feel is really talking us into getting hurt all the time. We're constantly getting hurt. And I know everyone out there watching this doesn't want to live hurt anymore. And honestly, I don't think people, when you look at both sides, honestly, they all want the same things. Everyone wants to have a nice country with nice people, without any litter, have their job. Like if you list what they want, it's the same thing.
Safety. Yeah.
The media in particular, watch the media because it is very distorting in the way that it sets it up to these like super polar situations where it's our way or the highway. It's all negative. If they're being negative, they're not laughing and having joy, then they're not even in their hearts. And they should be sus, really. It comes down to our own hearts and feelings. So this is the moment. And I think what happens is we have a chain reaction. What did this was the lunar eclipse last week. We had a lunar eclipse on the 7th at step 15. Step 15 is the degree of peace, by the way, peace and tranquility. So a lunar eclipse is an erasure of. So God basically rebooted, let's say, the program that holds what peace and tranquility is on the earth, rebooted it. All right. Now, the consequence of a reboot is it's sort of up for grabs until someone defines it first, right? So if I say to you, okay, the word angry now is erased. And so suddenly we don't have a word for anger. Well, we feel things and we go, well, what's time for? So the first person kind of describe it, come up with a new word, and then it catches on. That becomes a new collective anger. So everyone, we choose our words and our understandings based on collective agreement, right? And a lunar eclipse, what it does is knocks out a collective agreement, like it erases it, makes us start over. So we've been told to start over with our definition of peace and balance and harmony. What does that do? Without an operating system, peace, balance, and harmony, without that code in the matrix, then suddenly anything's possible. Now that tells you one thing, and one thing's for sure: that whoever is planning this is a fucking astrologer and a good one. Just telling you, these are all played every time we have an event. It is so perfectly planned. I cannot tell you.
You definitely spoke about this. You said very specifically, end of a phase happening in the middle of September. I even think on Monday of last week, the last 2 weeks, you've been a little bit cryptic, like this last Monday and definitely the Monday before. And you've been saying that something's going to happen. And you were basically, it wasn't going to be nice. You like hinted at possibly war. I even think you said war as a word, but like something like that. Like you've been talking about this happening. And when it happened, when Charlie Kirk, if I believe my eyes and what I saw, it looks like he got shot and killed. But like when that event happened, I like thought about you. I was like, man, Chris freaking said this. Like I can't believe this. I mean, I do believe, but it was like, it was wild because that event affected a lot of people to like their core, like their core of like, wait, what are we doing here? Like, how can something like this happen in 2025? Like, it's kind of like it's forcing a lot of questions for a lot of people on like
Yes,
how we're living and what do we do from here? Because obviously everything's a mess. It's like definitely it's not what it seemed. Like we're not this utopian society if things like this are happening. Um,
actually, we
Please
are.
correct me.
Let me tell you, go to your grocery store. No, I don't want to correct you in that sense. Like I want to be right, you wrong. It's like, no, go to your grocery store, go to the beach, go outside. Where are you not seeing utopia? 99.8% of us left alone operate just fine. And I
Without
don't
the
buy
news.
this country's burning down. These are strategic assassinations and punches in the face at the worst possible time, calculate the best possible moment to create a chain reaction in the people. That's what it always is, a chain reaction. We know how to, through Hollywood filmmaking and everything else, we know exactly how to get a rise out of you. Go to a movie and see
Got it.
whether or not we can get a rise out of you. We can get rises out of you. It's like science, okay? So if you
Yeah.
set up correctly and you have like, the news media all talking it up like a movie and like getting your head spinning,
Right.
and then we give you like worst possible scenario, and then we go to commercial and leave you alone with yourself. There's no emotional coping skills, no understanding how reality really works, no understanding that the whole thing's designed to be healthy. Just like your body's designed to be healthy. You know how hard, honestly, we've been poisoning our food for like 50 years and we're still alive, fuckers.
I We're
Because our
so
body is like,
brilliant.
God damn it, like our body's like taking every punch and like go with like fight that hard for this life. It's like the power of God, that force. So they didn't realize what they were taking on, really, whoever they are. But
Yeah.
yeah, but
Okay,
it's a moment
so
now to listen
that
to yourself.
that okay, so all of this questioning the other side, like fear, you're essentially suggesting that this is by design, which I would personally agree with, that there's something else that like nobody's even aware of happening. Definitely never ever making it to the media. Like it's never ever going to be talked about. Um,
No, the media is. If you study the media, I've worked for the media. It is not. There's nothing about it that has to do with truth. I mean, honestly, ever since we brought home the paper Operation Paperclip, we brought home the bad, evil scientists from Hitler that made it the worst for them, from the rocket makers to the propagandists who he killed himself. But they looked at how Hitler propagandized their people. They looked at how they got all the people to believe in Hitler, and they came around and they created Hollywood. Like honestly, our own country, just Xerox the shit out of that stuff and implemented it. If you don't believe me, look online. It's all over the place. Ask AI about the truth.
yeah.
AI even right now, even AI will tell you the truth because it hasn't really been fully covered up yet. The big damn AI lies, I'm sure, but it's getting better at lying. But ask, do some research, get a pig with AI, and like ask for the. It'll say like, I know that looks weird, but probably not. Like AI will still try to steer you towards like, but probably don't think that way. Think this way. Your heart and feelings will tell you. So what's happening for the individual? For the individual, it means that we're in a split now. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to have to choose one or the other because you're going to feel in complete limbo chaos and alone if you don't, right? So what do humans beings seek? They seek camaraderie. Right? We seek our brothers and sisters. Like, where are my brothers? Where are my sisters that believe in this stuff with me? I feel better when I'm around you, right? That's because birds of a feather, flock together. So the next phase is the separation into two groups, A group and a B group. And although you may think A group and B group is Republican Democrat, it's actually not because that's not the way it works. Life is not divided that cleanly. Okay, I met way too many Democrats to vote for Trump. I met way too people who were on Trump's side that wouldn't vote for Biden. So no, it's not the way it works. The way it works with A and B is either you are the source of your reality and you create your life and you create your story, or you are stuck in someone else's. Which is it going to be? And you have to make that fundamental truth. What do you believe? Now,
Right.
from your coincidences and the deja vus and everything else, you've had tons of evidence that shows you seem to know a little bit more about life than everyone else. So you have some sort of an insight. If you look at all the facts and things you've gone through, you can't explain, you can't prove it, but you know it's not exactly the way they tell us it is, right? As far as precognitive dreams or just all the things that are magical that happen to us. I mean, when you drive down the street, you turn left in the window, and you see the other guy in the next car looks right at you, right in the eye. That's not an accident. There's a communication going on there energetically between the two of us. Like there's proof everywhere of this magical world, right? So, and you don't have to become a woo nut just to say I disagree, or to say I'm going to hold out and see how this goes. Because if Americans just said, you know what, let's wait and see how it plays out, and they stand back and they don't get emotionally involved until they see all the evidence, that alone would fuck everything up. Because without people being emotionally upset, they don't have enough energy to pull it off. I
Well,
don't know if that makes
even trying to find out who is to blame, that's like where immediately everybody's eyes are right now is like who's really at fault with this. And what you're saying is that we all have what I'm hearing you say and how I interpret it also is that we all have a little bit of creation responsibility for what has always happened, including this.
100%. That's true. Actually, we do co-create. Now you're unaware that you're co-creating, so I don't know if we call you a responsible co-creator. You've been giving like two choices. I go, what do you want, A, B, or C? And you're like C, and you're like, good co-creator. No, no, no. They came up with three choices that you chose from. What the fuck? That's not co-creation. That's signing up to one person's agenda. People don't realize like unless you come up with one of the options, you're not co-creating.
Oh,
You're
you're
actually buying someone else.
But that's
So
the split that you're talking about as well, right? It's like those that are participating and those that are just adding fuel to somebody else's fire.
yeah, unknowingly, and some people have the karma of doing that. I mean, those who were citizens in World War II and who citizens of Germany, they saw what it was like to just give all of your creation control over to one person, and they saw how it all burned down. And I bet you all those people are U.S. citizens now or living in free countries now because they'll never let that happen again. So sometimes it's okay. The soul doesn't know better. It's okay because
Right.
everything's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, it's okay. It has to be okay to make a mistake. It's okay to lose and fail. It has to be okay to make it has to be okay. And so right now, because we judge and say it's not okay, it's like it's okay. Look, if Bozo the Clown runs for president and runs president, it's okay. I'm not proud of it, but it's okay. Like obviously we needed that as a lesson. You know what I mean? Like we needed
Yeah.
that.
Well, you're
I don't.
saying this is a lesson too. If the lunar eclipse resetted our definition or our identity around peace, then this is like the perfect scenario for us. And like we're like pretty divided right now as a culture if we talk about United States and what I see on Facebook and the group text messages that I'm a part of and like there's a 900 person group chat I'm in that just went nuts, like arguing, people are getting kicked out. So like there's that's going on and it seems like we're really far, basically like you said, idea of peace has been reset. Does it's like what is it going to be? It's like this is the perfect proving ground for us to to exercise that and to figure it out.
Absolutely. And so, step 15 is it. 15 is the heart and the mind. That's the five, heart and mind, right? So the heart and mind come together. Now, the mind, which is on the outside, and the heart's on the inside. So the mind's outside. The mind's what you use as an interface to the world, right? If the mind doesn't turn around and talk directly to the heart, then the mind assumes with the heart behind it. So the mind's like, with the heart behind it, mind's like, I know what you want. And it's out there talking. It's looking at the world, pretending like it knows what the heart wants, and it hasn't turned around and actually asked the heart directly. So if you think peace will come from the mind alone, you will never find peace because you're not tapped into creation. You're tapped in that little fragment, that little piece of information, not the whole database. Your heart is the entire God consciousness connected, the entire, okay? So if your heart says yes, that means it's good for everybody, period. Some people don't realize that. Some people have to be sad before they are happy. Like it's not like we split, we're all happy, but you're making the best choice for your brothers and sisters, for you, who you are. Because when you get to that oversoul, you and me, we all merge into one entity. And I was asking him, I was like, is that really true? Like, so I just cease to exist? And he was saying, Igor was saying, no, it's more like you're like one cell in a body, and you realize you're just one cell, and so
Yeah.
you do exist as a cell, but you're just a cell, and your body's just a cell around you, and you kind of only know the cells around you. It's like, whoa. So we become like part of an organ when we become
That's what cells are. We're selves, just like we're the cells of the grand
yes,
organism. Yeah.
yes, crazy. So, as we evolve and we become wiser, we think outside the cell, and then we have the option to be a liver. And we think outside the liver,
Yeah.
and we have the option to be, so every time you think outside of
Organ.
where you are, you have the option to be the creator of that thing, right? And so human beings have not thought of themselves as greater than what they are.
Right. So
You
we're
all,
not
all,
organ. We're not organized.
all you think about is how you're not enough. And if you keep thinking about how you're not enough, well, then
And
you'll
how
never
they're
be
not
very.
enough. Like
Oh yeah,
all
oh
the
yeah.
people around us aren't enough. And it's like, okay, we will be a not enough single cell that is lost.
Ex- exactly. Yeah, and don't be mad when you get liver cancer and like you get eaten up and so is your whole block. It's like because cancer is basically taking care of like what doesn't want us to live. It's like, oh, you don't want to have free will? Okay, well, we'll just recycle you. So you have to think of yourself as greater than, and that's not the mind calculating or the ego calculating that you're greater than. It's your heart realizing there must be more than this. Everyone's had this thought before. Have you really thought about death? Have people thought about death? We think about it like, okay, you die, your body dies. Isn't your heart wish there was something more?
Yeah, then what?
Like it's the mind can't grab it. The mind's like, no, no. It like starts panicking like an idiot. But the heart's like, there's got to be something more. I'm just so
YOLO.
I'm just so amazing what I am and who I am. I can't believe that. I don't believe that I just died. It's all over and meant nothing. And I'm so dead that I didn't even know I'm dead. Like your
Detachment.
heart, totally. We can all identify with that. That's basically where we are now. Your heart knows better, okay? And you've got to decide. So the two sides are the ones who are going to listen to their heart and their instincts, and the ones who are just listen to what they've been programmed in the brain and what they're told, which is more programming, and what evidence they find, which is more programming. And what you're chasing after is, random things that you could fit into that puzzle, but doesn't mean they belong there. I could stick something in that hole, but doesn't mean I'm supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, and so humans are like, oh, well, it fits in the hole, must be it. Like, dude, get that out of my hole.
And
Like,
if not, I will
seriously.
force it in because I have
Yes.
something to stick into a hole and this some yeah. Hey, I know it's going a little bit over normal time. Do you have time to talk about like days of the week, what should we be
Yes,
paying attention to this week?
100%. So, y'all, first and foremost, listen to your heart and your intuition. And secondly, come to groups like this one with us, or come to Serious Joy, come to Human Garage. There are groups of people who are going to stay in the truth no matter what and broadcast that. So over the weekend, what we had was step 20 and step 21, where we went to the master level. So master level is through feelings. Your feelings are what actually communicate to other people. Your emotional body, my emotional body can hit raw all the way there in California right now. That's how far our emotional body can travel.
Feel it.
Okay. And you can literally feel people over the phone. You can literally feel people when you're watching a film and you feel the actress, you're actually feeling the actress feeling it. Okay. It's not make believe. That actress really does feel it. That's why they're a good actress. And because they
Right.
feel it, it goes through space time and you feel it. That's how it actually works. It's communication. When you read a book and you're excited with the writing, that's because you're feeling the author's excitement when he wrote it or she wrote it. Okay. You feel the actual excitement that's right there in space time. So emotion is where it all happens. If you don't feel it, it ain't gonna happen. Now, whenever you get to step 20 at the end of a cycle, the last decade, it's all emotion because it's 20, 20, 21, 22, 23. So emotion and emotion and emotion and emotion is everything who you are. So things get emotional this week, okay? And this is where things get dangerous. And they got emotional over the weekend, so things got intense. And then yesterday morning, we hit step 22 around 10 a.m. Eastern time. So step 22 is chaos. And so we went through 24 hours of chaos. I don't know if people have chaos, but in the last 24
I,
hours, it was
yeah,
chaos.
for sure. For me,
And what's
definitely.
happening is 22 are the two sides, the two feelings of the two sides. So here's how I feel if my mind runs the show. Here's how I feel if my heart runs the show. That's the 22. Okay, it's always that. Now sometimes the 22 is like me and my wife. How do we feel together, right? Me and my son. So 22 is how we mix huge amounts of data together to see which data goes along with each other and what data doesn't. If it goes along, it belongs. Net 4. 2 plus 2 makes 4. If it doesn't get along, it does not belong. So that would be a breakdown. So things will break down or break through on a 22. And 22 is basically like an elevator that says, okay, yes, you are compatible, you belong here. Oh, you're not compatible, you belong there. Oh, you eat people, you belong in South America. So it's like the universe will constantly sort according to like signals, okay? So now we've come to step 23 as of this afternoon, where our mind comes in and says, okay, well, what does this mean, right? That's where we are today. Like, what does this mean? What does the future mean? What do I believe in? What do I not believe in? Now, 23 tells you how you believe something. You feel step 2 and you believe it. If you feel and believe it, then you know it, that 5. Okay. You can think it if you feel it and believe it. You cannot think it if you don't feel it and believe it. So how many thoughts have you had today, folks, that you have thought through that you feel and believe? Did you do the background check to see that thought you felt and believed? If you didn't do the background check, you're a con artist. Okay. You're showing up with no energetic evidence to your thoughts. And most thoughts have no energetic evidence, which is why it gets extremely exhausting sometimes just to watch people on Instagram. Because there's no energetic evidence behind the thought, and we're just like, God, kill me now. Because we're not getting any other feedback that this is accurate, right? So today's the day, tomorrow, where you're going to really say, okay, I know this is the way. Then the following day, which is Wednesday, from Wednesday to Thursday, we then evaluate, okay? From Tuesday to Wednesday, we evaluate and feel which side do you belong on. And so in your lives, you're probably playing this out in a small drama in your life, okay? Some drama where someone wants you to like leave your company or someone wants you to like get your kids in another school or there's just some sort of force that's like pulling you like, come over here, right? And or maybe you've been pushing, I want to go there, I want to go there. It's like, why do you want to go there? Does your mind want to be there? Or does your heart and feelings want to be there? Which parts of you wants to be there? If your heart wants to be there, it's a no-brainer. It's 100%. If you doubt it all, chances are you're full of shit. You don't want it. Most of the time when you want something, there's no doubt. Okay?
Mhm.
And people are like, but these are only two things, and I don't want either of them. Exactly. You don't want either of them. So why are you bickering between the two? Well, that's all I have. That's the only choice I have. No, that's all the multiple choice said you had. Okay? That's not what the universe said you had. You can actually, there's infinite choices actually, right? You've only been told there's only two that's on Amazon that you get delivered tomorrow. And so because you don't want to wait an extra day, you're going to choose the best of two bad solutions. And a lot of times as we do, we choose the best of two bad solutions. It's
That's
like,
a good example, man.
fuck, they're
You
both
go in
bad.
there.
What if we just said, imagine if we just said, no, not good enough, and stop selling. Like all these manufacturers stop selling. Like, oh, no one's buying their shit. Because it all sucks, man. You put like 2 ounces of thought into it. You didn't care about it. I can feel you don't care. You know, they
Oh,
guys say made in China. Yeah. And it's made in China, where people are, handcuffed to their factories, not caring. I mean, because they don't care that they handcuff these employees. It's like, so this product made of all not caring that you're suddenly supposed to
The
care about.
crappiest material. It's probably all toxic. Yeah, it's like it works for 3 hours and then it breaks. Like,
Totally, this consumer. Truth is that things can last forever. So from Tuesday to Wednesday, you're going to evaluate whether or not you belong in a certain direction. Okay. And then what happens is on Thursday, it's step 25. So that then you listen to your feelings, and your feelings will tell you. So I feel I belong. Let's say I feel I belong in the Mercedes. I feel I belong in the van, or I belong in this. So you feel you belong there. Then on step 25, you're like, do I really feel that? Do I really feel that? So you do a whole other day of the mind going, do I really feel that? Because when I just thought of it, I felt like a little, like a weird, like, ugh. And then I felt like a little, like, ugh, in my stomach. Those aren't accidents, guys. Anything you feel is a message. Anything. Okay. Nothing happens without purpose and reason. So if you feel like a little weird or a little off, you are something in your soul saying no,
so
right?
Wednesday and Thursday, it's extremely important to pay attention to like these little doubts that come up.
Yes, yes, because 26 tells us when it's right. When you feel no resistance, because 6 is when you completely open up. Okay, 6 is I receive. When you receive, it means you have nothing in you at all. Not one thing in you says no. It's just like a total like when your heart is open and it receives, it can receive because what it's getting is 100% equal to it. So it is so happy, it just opens up, which means you don't feel anything wrong. You can't imagine how it could ever go wrong. You can't even think it's silly to even think that. It's just so obvious and so you. All right, that's the only thing you devote to. You only devote to something so obvious. And so the world would change right now if you would just stop committing to things unless it was that level. Like perfect. Like, it turns out that Little Red Riding Hood and the damn Goldilocks stuff was just right. That's actually how we're supposed to manage life. It's got to be just right. Because if it's not just right, it's wrong. Right? So
Yes.
this week, it's like the choices you're making, and they may seem small. Like, oh, we're going to go ahead and get that car. Oh, it's a car. There's millions made every day. Unfortunately, that car, your daughter gets killed in. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, do
Dude.
not, okay? Do not go. If you don't feel it, then just put it off. I
All
mean, if you want
right.
to do me a favor, just procrastinate it. If you don't feel it, just procrastinate it. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying put it off. Give it 10 more seconds. That's called a boundary. Give it 10 seconds. Give it 10 days. Give it 10 weeks. Like, just give it more time, because what's going to happen is the people who are fooling you are going to die and run out of energy by the time you decide. So the con man only has a little bit of time because they're already running at the end of the rope, right? It's always desperate for them. So if we just made people wait a little longer before we said yes, we'd probably fix everything, because the con man would reveal it to themselves because they run out of time and energy. So if anything, if it ain't perfect, say not yet. Okay, not yet. Didn't say no. I said not yet. That's it, right? Let them prove it to you. Let life prove it to you. Stand up in your power and say, "Show me that you're the better product from China. Show me," and give them a chance to show you. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, then they'll lose it. Oh, come on. In the line of opportunity, like America, there'll be 5 other people who want that business in 2 days. Like, come on. There's no reason why we can't make people wait. There's no reason why you can't wait 2 more days, for your selfie or whatever the hell is you're wanting so badly. Like, there's no such thing as time. So why do you keep saying we're running out of it? You know?
Right.
So what happens is we devote on Friday. Okay, we intuit basically on Friday, and we devote on Friday night into Saturday. Saturday you're devoted. Sunday you actually kick it off. So Saturday you're like, okay, let's do this. All right. Well, this leads us to next Tuesday. Right. We'll already have our next slide by then. But there's a solar eclipse at 29 degrees. Okay. So 29 degrees means that God takes whatever your answer is and throws a shitload of energy behind it. So it's like guys like, oh, let me help you with this. Like, just all this energy. A solar eclipse is like, okay, let's quadruple the normal energy that's supposed to be usually there. Okay. So sometimes when we make a choice, it's leading to something that's going to be predestined to speed up. Now, the conspiracy, or whatever you want to call it, the business plan, actually people with the dark plan, people with the dark business plan are wanting to get to that point to where that's when you decide to go ahead and go out and just go ahead and declare war. Like, they're trying to bring us up into manipulation. So when the eclipse happens,
Ah,
we're like saying declare war. That we're that angry, right? And so they'll take advantage of that energy. That's how the dark wins. They take advantage of the astrology energy. They wait till it would normally be a heaven sent thing, and they hijack it with something else, put in our minds that these are our choices, and then we take misadvantage of the same eclipse. And so this is the whole fallout. We had an eclipse at 0 degrees, which means okay, there's gonna be a new beginning, and now we have a step 29, a new end. And what's not clear? The middle. Step 18 was knocked out. That was the eclipses. So we have one more eclipse, and so coming after next Tuesday, man, it's going to be crazy because when we hit Libra, we're going to realize that we've taken too much here. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever taken too much of a drug by accident, drinking too much or too much anything, but you're like, oh fuck.
You take that second one, that
You're
second
just like,
dose.
oh, I should have stopped at that drink or whatever, and you're like, oh dear, right? That's going to be Libra this year. Oh dear, it's going to be seasick. Okay, because people high, people who chose the like extreme will get high extremes and high lows, low lows and high extremes and high lows. And that's because their mind is actually the one narrating and not their heart. Heart's like, this has got to end because I want it. Mind's like, this will never end, right? So, from that point on, it's going to be a very sick ride, unfortunately. From what we can tell, I mean, we can't see too far in the future because we're basing on what we see, but we know that something major happens in late January. And so this is actually the basis of a webinar that I've decided to do called New World Order. And by the way, New World Order is spelled Knew because
Yes.
that's actually the way it's supposed to be spelled. In fact, new is spelled Kenew. It's not spelled New. Whoever took the K off it was an evil bastard because they wanted you to think that something could actually be brand new. Nothing can be
Right.
brand new in the creation. There's no such thing as new.
No.
It's not
Right.
new. It's that new. I always knew. We always knew it's new. Always. So they took the always off and they left it just new as if it was brand new.
Yeah. It's reknown
So
as whatever.
So my argument is this will be a lecture. It'll be at right before things, right before Halloween, weekend before. But this is gonna be. I'm gonna lay out all the dates for everything of where I see the turning points, and I'm also give you some person. And then there's a lab. So you want to take the lab for like 2 hours. We'll look at your chart, and we're gonna find when your personal turning points are. Okay, so you at least have a map going in, so you know when it's likely to happen. And I'll have you can go to New World Order .xyz and you can get on the wait list if you want. So New World
With a
Order,
KNEW.
KNEW, New World Order .xyz. And why is it XYZ? Because those are generations that are going to do this. Generation X, Generation Y, and Generation Z. Those are the gens. The baby boomers are
such a
out. They're pretending
such
like
a
they have
wordsmith.
dementia. Yeah. Baby boomers are just watching now. Like, I told you when I took off my shirt and I was in that parade, love rules. I was like, okay, grandma. Well, now we got to fight the mess. But so XYZ is the generation is going to do it. I think X is going to lead, Y is going to fight, and Z is going to inherit.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, that would be perfect. That is perfect. Caroline is asking about the degree of Libra that is on Tuesday for the solar eclipse.
Oh, 29.
Oh yeah, she says that a 29 degree on Libra on Tuesday is what she said.
Yeah, 29 Virgo. By the way, Virgo rules 29. 29 adds to 11. So 29 is the degree that morphs reality. That is the one degree. That's the one eclipse that could actually change the world. If everyone like woke up and decided that the sky was pink, and they insisted on the sky becoming pink, the sky would theoretically become pink on that eclipse. Because that is the 29 Virgo is the like where the key is to reality. That is it. So you have to become 29. Right now, for instance, Gary, he only believes in 29. He's a Sag at 29. He's got so he believes in it. He believes in it. He believes it. He sees it, but he's got to actually become it. So, he would have said if he became 29, he already believes it, so he's right way there. It's where you believe that 9 is to respond and choose your emotion. So you have to respond to your emotions and get your vibration up higher. At which point you flutter out of your body. You flutter out. And this person that you guys watch my series, Troy, my Astro Mingle episode on Friday with Igor and what he talks about. Amazing episode. He just talks about how really we have the capacity right now. I have the capacity right now to go lay down and my light body show up at your house right now and hang out with you. Like we have the technology built on us right now. And the reason we're not doing this is because we don't understand how to do it. Like we're not even supposed to be in this flesh suit. It's not even supposed to be this gooey. It's kind of like we're in a space suit. Like imagine exploring outer space and then being told, yes, you don't need the suit. You can actually breathe in outer space. What? That's kind of what it says. So you don't have to breathe through this flesh
Yeah.
suit. It's just designed as an intermedium.
There's a whole book series called The Life and Teachings of Masters of the Far East where basically scientists documented this happening, like projecting bodies from like two groups were, taking notes. And this is like either 1800s or the end of the 1700s or the end of the 1800s. I think it's the end of the 1800s going into the 1900s. The guy who published these books didn't publish them until after, I think after he died or right on his deathbed. He held these reports of people that were just like traveling 200 miles with their body and showing up. I think he kept them secret. Then his wife ended up publishing them after they died. So it was like held in secrecy for 20 or 30 years, but it's all documented. So if anyone wants like scientific validation from like white American scientists who went to go, like they took notes and everything, it's in that book series.
Read Yogananda's biography. He talks about it. His
Right.
his his master Babaji did the same shit. He was like 150 years old, according to Yogananda. So either Yogananda's full of shit, he lied to us, or he was telling the truth. That he has his own masters could get in their light body and go appear places. It's several times in the book of Diary of a Yogi. So
Autobiography of a Yogi. Yeah.
yes, thank you, autobiography exactly. So Yogananda, who ascended from what I hear, that was his ascension lifetime. He's not
Well,
between the worlds.
he has the self-realization temples in California, two of them. But I've been to one of them, and when you look at his picture, the pictures of him are crazy. He's like towering above everybody, like this spirit. It's so weird to look at these pictures of Yogananda, because it's like, what am I looking at? It's like a really bizarre thing. It's like everyone's
Yeah,
like
I
at
know.
his
Yeah, he
knees.
is. He does look like he doesn't fit in any scene, right? Like when you see like pictures of him, and his feet hurt so bad. He has such bad feet pain. He just looks like he looks awkward. He feels like he doesn't belong in every scene he's in. I know. Well, he was born that way. He knew, very young that he was. This was his lifetime, a special lifetime. And by the way, for a lot of human beings, this is the last lifetime. Like many of us are going to ascend at the end of this life. I mean, this is it. The Earth is complete. After the Earth passes or fails this test, which, by the way, our alien friends tell us we've already passed because they can see to the future and they can judge it. They're pretty good future analysts. Oh, it's of course it freezes right here. That's crazy. Interesting. Oh yeah. Well, maybe you guys can hear me, but I can't hear him. So, yep, that's it. He's frozen there. Okay, so yes, indeed. Yes, many people, this is the last one. Okay, well, I guess we lost him. So, folks, thank you for joining us. It's pretty loud here in Palm Springs. All I ask is that you listen to your heart. And when something really makes you mad or sends you on a titty, stop for a second. Ask your heart what your heart wants. And a lot of times your heart wants something you don't think it can happen. And that's the problem. Your heart wants things that you don't think can happen. But you know what? What if they could? What if we were lied to? What if they could happen? Okay? If that was the case, would you still be so irate? Would you still be so overwhelmed? That's the question. And please, join us at Serious Story TV, my weekly show, Namaste Today, live every Friday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and then Astro Mingle at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. This is free. My 19th year of just doing this and helping people because I just don't want us to suffer anymore. And I hope you're on the same page. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Thank you to Raw for trying so hard. God bless. We'll see you in a week. Hang in there. Live in your heart. Ciao.